we are back for the final block of Inside Tennessee with our guest, Congressman Tim Burchett of East Tennessee. So I get to ask this question last week. Tim, you called for something I thought was really interesting. It's a national memorial garden where we could house unwanted presidential statues, I'm guessing, and I wanted to ask you, this sounds like something to deal with the Jefferson statue, which is being removed from New York City Hall because he had been a slaver. But can you talk a little bit about this, what you were calling for last week?
Yeah, I was actually after a conversation with one of our local pastors, Clarence Sexton, and he told me that he said, look, if these people are taking these statues down, if you ever get a chance, go over to his church and assembly group there where he has his college in Powell, and check some of the things he's got. It's an unbelievable museum, but he has things from every president from Washington forward, and it's just an incredible display. And he said he came up with a great idea, and he said, why don't we bring all those statues here? We'll put them out, give them historical perspective, and let the people see them. It's education. People need to just educate themselves on the issues more instead of this just constant. This is mob rule is what's going on in these towns, and it's happening everywhere. And people have been critical of me when I said, well, they'll go after Jefferson and Washington next, and everybody laughed about it. Well, sure enough, look what they're doing. And so eventually they're going to come up here and take down the memorials here, and we need to get past that. We need to talk about our history and get on with it. As a guy told us this week at lunch, who is not from America, he says, I can't believe you all deal on all this stuff. He said, you all sent a man to the moon and you brought him home, and nobody talks about that. And you kind of put it in perspective of what we were about and what we were not about in this country. We do some great things in this country, and we need to personify those. And I think Pastor Sexton, I think it's a very noble idea. I think it'll work. He'll send the truck up and get them. And I just think it's terrible to think that some of our founding fathers are in a trash dump somewhere. And that doesn't, to me, that's not the America that I want to see.
And that's not happening. But I assume you also mean if you're going to teach critical race theory also, where it's appropriate and appropriately aged.
No, I'm not a critical race. I don't feel guilty for who I am or where I came from. My parents worked very hard. There's a poster in the back.
Should we talk about our history?
We talk about our history, but let's talk about all of it. I mean, my mama flew an airplane during the Second World War, and Dad went over in the Pacific and fought the Japanese. I'll talk about that all day long, and they had nothing. They came from nothing, and they were hardworking people. Let's talk about some of the local folks around here. I mean, Pete DeBusk, Jim Haslam. I mean, they came from pretty much nothing, and they started $1 billion international.
Fine Victor Ash filibuster. Thank you,
Out of time Inside Tennessee. Appreciate Tim Burchett being our guest, and we look forward to seeing him again.